The Rays beat the Astros 4-2 and advanced to the second World Series in franchise history and the first since 2008. And they avenged their loss to the Astros in the ALDS just last season. And the Rays also joined the 2004 Yankees, the only team to blow a 3-0 series lead in a 7-game series. They avoided that, thank goodness, for them. Joining us now is David Sampson. David, you know they were up 3-0. The Astros came back, made it a fantastic series, but in the end, the Rays just too good. How did you feel about this, the way this series played out?
You know, I really thought the Astros were going to win this series from the beginning, and when they started the comeback, there's a reason why 37 of 38 teams up 3-0 end up advancing, with only the Red Sox beating the Yankees in 2004, 4 straight. It's hard to win 4 straight games in the postseason, period, and it's really hard to win against the best team in the league, and the Rays have been the best team in the American League this entire shortened season. And what you saw tonight was perfect Rays baseball. Everyone was going mad on Twitter. Leave Charlie Morton in the game. What are you doing bringing in Nick Anderson? And the answer is very simple. That is the formula that Kevin Cash and Matt Silverman have used to make the Rays successful. The starter goes twice through the lineup, sometimes 3 times, but generally just twice, and you hand it over to your strong bullpen, who you pitch consecutive days, but you leave some for every other day. You piece it together, and you win games. Brilliantly managed, perfectly managed. The Rays deserve to be in the World Series. I thought the Astros' experience in winner-take-all games would prevail, but it turns out I was right. But the Astro who prevailed is now a Ray. Charlie Morton is the Game 7 pitcher, and he did his job tonight, and he now gets to pitch in the World Series.
I love the way you left yourself an out there. Even when you're wrong, you're still right. You're a real pro, David. Let's talk about Randy Arozarena. He's only been a pro for 1 year. He's a rookie, and he set a record with 7 home runs in the postseason so far. How impressed are you by him this postseason?
You know, postseason tends to make stars. And the question as an evaluator is, are you looking at a Hall of Fame player? Are you looking at a moment in time for a player where you do not want to invest in, because right now, if we know this is going to be his career, you want to lock him up, get him signed, and that's that. But he's been a good player, but this is something completely different. And what we're seeing now is a level of plate discipline, and he is taking the ball to all fields. You can't pitch to him because he's hitting, the only pitches he can hit are fastballs, changeups, curveballs, and sliders. Other than that, he can't do anything. So if this really is him, he's a Hall of Famer. And can he do it for 4 more games? History says yes. When you've got a player who is hot in the postseason, they tend to stay hot through the end of the postseason. Will it be enough to get the Rays their first ever franchise ring and cut the score to 2-1 for Florida franchise World Series rings? Wait to see.
Well, who are the Rays cheering for tomorrow? Game 7 between the Braves and the Dodgers. Who do they match up best with?
From my standpoint, when we were going to the World Series and we didn't know whether we were going to play the Red Sox or the Yankees, we wanted to play the Yankees because of my past as a New Yorker and our owner's past as a New Yorker and the desire to beat the best franchise in history. When you're the Tampa Bay Rays and you're looking at Braves versus Dodgers, you want to beat the Dodgers, the storied Dodgers who've been trying to get a World Series. Andrew Friedman is the president of baseball operations who came from Tampa, and they tell you that everyone gets along and everything's perfect. But the truth is, there's a lot of competition there. And the Rays would like nothing more than to stop Andrew Friedman from winning his first title with LA and beat the team who everyone thought was the best in baseball. I think they're rooting for the Dodgers.
All right, well, the Dodgers did win on Saturday 3-1. They were down 3-1 in the series. They tied it up at 3 apiece. What stood out to you the most about Game 6?
Well, the first thing we have to talk about is Kenley Jansen and what Dave Roberts has done for Kenley Jansen's season. Remember, there was a question coming into this series whether or not Jansen was even the closer, which of course is absurd. Not only does he have a closer contract, but he's been the closer for years for this team. Now, there is an issue with him. He really doesn't go back-to-back. He is not as impactful as he has been and as lights out. But Dave Roberts pitched him in the 6th inning of the blowout game. And everyone said, wow, it's another example that he's not the closer. But guess what? That got into Jansen's head, and it worked. He came out and closed the game yesterday, closed the game today, and rest assured he will be available to go 3 days in a row for what I assume would be the first time, maybe ever, but I don't have that stat. But it would seem that I'd have to ask Coca. But I would think that that would be forever. Dave Roberts is doing everything right. But as we saw in tonight's Game 7 with the Astros and the Rays, whoever comes off tomorrow, here's what we're looking for. Betts and Seager against Acuna and Freeman. That's the number 1 and 2 hitter for each of these clubs. Who has the better game of those top 2 hitters? That's who's going to win the game tomorrow.
I know you're probably wearing shorts right now, but it's time to put your prediction pants on. Not only do I want to know who's going to win Game 7 tomorrow between the Dodgers and the Braves, I want to know your World Series pick as of right now.
Thank you for saying as of right now, because that truly is something that we have to wait to see how tomorrow goes, see if there's any injuries. But for tomorrow, I have the Dodgers winning the series in 6. That's what I said before it started. Why would I change my mind other than the fact they can't win it in 6? I think the Dodgers prevail, win this in 7, and then they go on to play the Rays. These are the 2 best teams in baseball, the top seeds in both leagues. It's going to be a tough series, and I think the Tampa Bay Rays have what it takes, because when you've got a bullpen like they have, and you can keep that bullpen going, which they're going to do for another 7 games, it's really hard to beat a team like that. You can beat them a few games, but you got to beat them 4 out of 7 times. That's too hard for the Dodgers.
2 Game 7s before a World Series. It doesn't get much better than that. He is David Sampson, former Marlins president and current Major League Baseball guru. And if you want more from David, how could you not check out his podcast, Nothing Personal, delivering his unique take on sports from both a fan perspective and a front office perspective. It makes you smarter. That's something we all need. Download and subscribe today.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.